The most disturbing aspect of this case isn't just that Cameron Hardman vanished without a trace on Halloween night 2011. It's that despite his car being found abandoned in Philadelphia and extensive searches by law enforcement, not a single clue has emerged about what happened to him in over 13 years. The 31-year-old man simply drove away from his friend's house in Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania, and disappeared into the night, leaving behind a family desperate for answers and investigators baffled by the complete absence of evidence. This is the story of a Halloween disappearance that has haunted a community and demonstrates how someone can simply vanish in modern America. Viewer discretion is advised. If you're fascinated by unsolved disappearances and missing persons cases, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel with notifications turned on for more compelling mysteries like this one. October 31st, 2011 was supposed to be a typical Halloween night for Cameron A. Hardman, a 31-year-old man living in the Philadelphia area. Cameron was described by those who knew him as a friendly, outgoing person who maintained close relationships with his family and friends. Standing 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighing approximately 220 pounds, Cameron had black hair and brown eyes and was known for his distinctive smile and easygoing personality. He had no history of mental health issues, substance abuse problems, or any reason to disappear voluntarily. Cameron lived a relatively stable life in the Sharon Hill area of Pennsylvania, a small borough in Delaware County just southwest of Philadelphia. He was close to his mother and maintained regular contact with his family and friends. Those who knew him described him as reliable and responsible, someone who would never simply walk away from his life without explanation. This made his sudden disappearance all the more shocking and inexplicable to everyone who cared about him. On that fateful Halloween evening, Cameron had plans to visit friends in the area. According to police reports and witness statements, he was last seen leaving an address on Newland Avenue in Sharon Hill around evening time. His destination was the 4,500 block of Carmack Street, where he planned to meet with friends for what should have been a routine social visit. The drive between these two locations was short and familiar to Cameron, taking him through neighborhoods he knew well.
What happened during that brief journey remains one of the most puzzling aspects of the case. Cameron never arrived at his intended destination on Carmack Street, and his friends became concerned when he failed to show up as planned. Initial attempts to contact him by phone were unsuccessful, and as the hours passed without any word from Cameron, his friends and family realized that something was seriously wrong. The discovery of Cameron's abandoned vehicle marked the beginning of what would become a long and frustrating investigation. His car was found at 5234 North 2nd Street in Philadelphia, several miles from both his starting point in Sharon Hill and his intended destination. The location where the vehicle was discovered raised immediate questions about what had happened to Cameron and why his car had ended up in that particular area. The condition of the vehicle and the circumstances of its abandonment provided few clues to investigators. There were no signs of a struggle, no evidence of foul play, and no indication of what might have caused Cameron to leave his car in that location. The vehicle appeared to have been simply parked and abandoned, with no obvious explanation for why Cameron would have done so voluntarily. The investigation into Cameron's disappearance was launched immediately, with local law enforcement agencies coordinating their efforts to locate the missing man. Search teams combed the area where his vehicle was found, looking for any trace of Cameron or clues about what might have happened to him. Investigators interviewed friends, family members, and anyone who might have had contact with Cameron on the day of his disappearance. Despite these extensive efforts, the investigation yielded frustratingly few leads. Cameron's cell phone records were analyzed, his financial accounts were monitored for activity, and his social media presence was examined for any indication of his plans or state of mind. However, none of these investigative avenues provided meaningful clues about his whereabouts or what might have happened to him on that Halloween night. The timing of Cameron's disappearance on Halloween night added an eerie dimension to the case. Halloween has long been associated with mysterious disappearances and unexplained events, and Cameron's case fits into a disturbing pattern of people who have vanished on October 31st. The combination of darkness, increased activity on the streets due to Halloween celebrations, and the general chaos of the holiday may have provided cover for whatever happened to Cameron. Investigators considered various theories about Cameron's disappearance, including the possibility that he had been the victim of a random crime, that he had encountered someone he knew who meant him harm, or that he had somehow become disoriented or suffered a medical emergency. However, none of these theories could be substantiated with evidence, and the case remained frustratingly open-ended. The impact of Cameron's disappearance on his family has been devastating and long-lasting. His mother, who reported him missing when he failed to return home, has never stopped searching for answers about what happened to her son. She has worked tirelessly to keep his case in the public eye, distributing flyers, maintaining social media pages dedicated to finding Cameron, and cooperating with law enforcement in their ongoing investigation. The family's anguish has been compounded by the complete absence of information about Cameron's fate. Unlike cases where remains are eventually found, or where there is some resolution, Cameron's family has been left in a state of perpetual uncertainty, not knowing whether he is alive or dead, whether he was the victim of a crime, or whether he might someday return home.
Over the years since Cameron's disappearance, various tips and leads have been reported to law enforcement, but none have provided the breakthrough that investigators and the family desperately hope for. The case has been featured on missing persons websites, social media campaigns, and true crime forums, generating public interest and awareness, but no concrete results. The National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, NAMUS, maintains an active case file for Cameron, designated as MP13465, which includes his physical description, the circumstances of his disappearance, and contact information for the investigating agency. This database serves as a resource for law enforcement agencies across the country who might encounter information relevant to Cameron's case. The investigation into Cameron's disappearance remains active, with law enforcement agencies continuing to follow up on any new leads or information that emerges. Advances in forensic technology and investigative techniques provide hope that someday new evidence might come to light that could help solve the case. DNA analysis, cell phone tracking technology, and other modern investigative tools that have been developed since 2011 could potentially provide new avenues for investigation. The case has also highlighted the challenges faced by families of missing persons and the limitations of the investigative process when there is little physical evidence to work with. Cameron's disappearance demonstrates how someone can simply vanish in modern America, leaving behind no trace and no explanation for their absence. Today, more than 13 years after Cameron Hardman disappeared on that Halloween night, his case remains one of Pennsylvania's most puzzling missing persons investigations. His family continues to hope for answers, while investigators remain committed to solving the case despite the passage of time and the lack of new evidence. The case serves as a reminder of the thousands of people who disappear each year in the United States, many of whom are never found and whose families never receive the closure they desperately seek. Cameron's story is particularly haunting because of its complete lack of resolution and the absence of any clues about what might have happened to him. If you found this investigation into an unsolved disappearance as compelling and heartbreaking as we did, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel with notifications turned on. We explore the most puzzling missing persons cases and unsolved mysteries, bringing attention to cases that deserve to be remembered and investigated. Your support helps us continue sharing these important stories and keeping hope alive for families who are still searching for answers. Until next time, remember that behind every missing person case is a family that has never stopped hoping for their loved one's return. And sometimes the smallest piece of information can be the key to solving a mystery that has persisted for over a decade.